And we're back with some more NBA observations to keep your summer hopefully alive with some NBA talk. It is, of course, Gerald Glassford. I know I'm trying to do the best I can for you guys out there. I got 2 channels, and you don't have a whole lot of news and information coming in on the league. So at this point in time, it's like, so with that said, though, there is a little tidbit I want to go ahead and run by my friend, and there's a little tidbit he wants to run by you guys in regards to, you guessed it, LeBron James, but I've got something to ask him as well in regards to a possible destination for the Lakers. The newest Laker of the week, if you believe the rumors, seemingly, because it's, a new one every single week as far as the concern. And the latest trending topic, I'm going to go ahead and discuss with him as well. But it is, of course, Legend from I Got Next Sports Media. Legend, great to have you back on. I know your life schedule has changed. You're not going to be on as much as you'd like to be with us. And of course, as much as we would like to have you on, but we are continuously happy for your success. And my friend, anytime we can get you on, we are definitely a better show in doing so.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure I still can hop on here. I may not be able to stay up as late as I did in the middle of the week, since I got to literally be up by 6:15. But on the weekends, I'll be here every time. Or if it's in the evening, a little early in the day, I'll be here then too.
Be nice if for you, because you won't have to hear as many Joe Sorrell rants, which will leave me listening to the Joe Sorrell rants. And in doing so, maybe I will wish for getting a new vocation. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But again, it is, of course, NBA observations. Always got to see what I can do to stick that little jab at Joe anytime I can. I know he's still with, I believe, VAR. I think he's still with VAR, Sports Baby, who is visiting from Australia. So continued happiness for both those guys as they continue on their march and journey along the West Coast. But with that said, though, in the summer months, the big news, obviously, recently was LeBron James. And I had someone, I think, was it JY, I believe, said the other day. So we did a show about a week and a half ago, and he said, well, that's the last we're going to hear about LeBron James on this channel, right? Because well, John Costa had a lot to say about LeBron James, and just because he's LeBron James and I do the NBA observations along with the Lakers Fast Break, I'm going to continue to talk about LeBron James as much as I feel is necessary on this show, because you guys tune in when we talk about LeBron James. Just even if you just want to put in the comments how much you hate LeBron James, there you go, which is quite a few of you indeed. So with that said, Legend, you have thoughts. I did get a chance to speak to Matt John from the J Notes, who also shared some thoughts on that, and also retrospect to what Kevin Durant said about this being the next super team that's better than his Golden State teams. I don't know if I'm going to go that far. I think he was just doing that to just, set things high. I don't really think he believes. I just cannot wrap my head around the fact that, yeah. Well, that said, my friend, your thoughts on the LeBron move to Philadelphia. I know you wanted to put your 2 cents in, so that 2 cents comes now.
I'm going to say, personally, I thought he was going to go to Cleveland. That's why I thought he was really going to go end it. But then when I saw the Sixers get Jaylen Brown, I'm like, there's the dark horse right there. That's the dark horse pick. Just because he showed up, that might sway his mindset to go over there. I'm going to first say this, LeBron, thank you for not coming to Golden State. I literally just told my homeboy, if you went there, I hope you're a lottery team. I'd rather lose. I just rather lose.
You had an out there, though, with Draymond Green, but you re-signed him back. You could have gotten a chance. Well, hey, LeBron didn't make it, but, you gave up on that last year of your contract. Sorry. It's all right, but yeah, no, you signed him again. So, but your thoughts again on LeBron, my friend.
Well, I mean, we were gonna suck either way, but I rather us definitely don't win if he can. Just lose. Don't win. I just don't want to hear. I'm like Gerald. I don't want to hear the narratives. It gets tiring. It did get really tiring. And he's not even on my team. And it get tiring. But I'm not really surprised he went there. I'm not surprised because that was my dark horse pick when they got Jaylen Brown. My thing about the whole thing is, I see a lot of people already saying, "Oh, they're going to the finals." I'm like, you ain't paid attention to history the last decade or so. We have seen this happen time and time again. But it looks good on paper, and then when the season comes, well, what's going on? Is hit the emergency buttons. It's going crazy. They're not winning. It don't work like that. Usually, this type of team, when I look at all this talent that's on this team, this will take 2 seasons before you probably see what it can really be. Because the first year is gonna be the fill out year. You just learning each other right now, just getting the feel. First year usually be a wash. The second year is usually when you'll see what you truly can do. But we've been here, done it before. We've seen teams be stacked up like this, and it don't always work out. It's, to me, at this point, it's very rare when it does. Like, the pieces got to really fit for it to just click automatically. That's why when I looked at Kevin Durant, when he said, yeah, you just talking. You don't believe it. Because that team fitted perfectly together. It was perfect. It was legit perfect. This situation, I don't know why this is perfect or not, just because you got 4 people on this team that is high volume usage. There's only one basketball. So at least 3 of y'all gonna have to take a cut. Somebody gonna take some cuts. And that's the part where I look at this team, I'm like, it looks good on paper, but will it really fit? Because somebody gonna have to take a big step back. So I'm not sure it's gonna work.
I also, health has a lot to do with this as well. And Joel Embiid's health issues have, they've already been out there, been quite a bit. And the fact that, he has rarely gone through a playoff series without any health concerns or issues is obviously a big factor in all this. Because I think he is the X factor in all this. For however good LeBron and Brown and VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey can be good together, it takes what Joel Embiid's skill set can do. And if you're getting anywhere near what the Joel Embiid was like before all those injuries set in, then you are talking about a team that possibly has a real shot at an NBA title. But that's a really big if.
And that's a humongous if. Because if we go look at the last few seasons, Joel Embiid, I think he only played like 96 games, like maybe 3 seasons together. That's pretty low. He's been injured most of the time. And to me, for this team to win a championship, it's going to come down to, is he going to stay healthy? If he goes down, then that's pretty much it at that point. I mean, I guess you could slide LeBron James to center, but is that what you really want to do with a 42-year-old? Probably not, because he's up in the age, and you're putting him at risk of getting injured too. Even though, give LeBron credit, super durability. That's one thing I will say he is to go to. Durability. He is to go to that part. Sorry, John Costa. I'm not going to say to go to all-time basketball. That's Michael Jordan. We'll worry about that another day. But durability, he the GOAT at that part. He is the GOAT. But if you put him at center at his age, now I feel like you're trying to test the waters a little bit, seeing how well can you sit here and bang with them guys in the paint for rebounds and boxing out. So I feel like if Joel Embiid goes down, that pretty much to me hurts his team. I feel like you got to have him healthy. I can't see you coming out the East without a healthy Joel Embiid. And even if you do manage to get out, you're going to lose to San Antonio, Oklahoma at that point just because you need him. You need him to make a big difference. So I feel like it's going to come down a lot of that. But here's another thing too, Gerald, that I would love to bring up. What about VJ Edgecombe? I mean, he's taking a big step back. He went from like 18 points a game last year. Probably was thinking he can go for 20, 21 points a game. Well, that don't come down like a rock now. With Jaylen Brown and LeBron, that don't drop like a rock. I highly doubt his agent gonna be too happy to know, well, my client got to take a big step back for an old man who's pretty much out his prime, and a man who got booted out of Boston. Who knows how you feel about that? So I don't. He might play fair, but I don't know if deep down inside, behind the scenes, are you really happy about being probably the fourth man? I'm not sure how you feel about that.
Oh, on that starting lineup, he's the fifth man. He's clearly the fifth guy. Yeah, on that. But then again, if it leads to a championship, even the fifth guy gets paid. Like, for instance, we would not be talking about the Josh Hart extension if they didn't win the championship. I think we wouldn't be talking about it in such a larger light, as far as more important as far as that extension is concerned, as opposed to what it could have been, let's just say, through another Knicks playoff run. Josh Hart, though, is now an NBA champion, and as the fifth guy on that starting lineup, he is still going to get paid. He is still going to be thought of in a very good light, and he's still going to be thought of as an NBA champion and doing the little things that it took to get things done in the finals. He's going to be able to be remembered for quite a long time, and that's the role VJ Edgecombe can play, I believe, on this team with this starting lineup if it stays intact going forward. So he can build his career at least during this super team phase that this Philadelphia 76ers team is going to do. And then once he gets a chance to break out, he can go ahead and do just that. But I don't want to say that just because the fact, like I said, his role is diminished, I don't want to say it takes away entirely, because I think VJ Edgecombe can bring a lot of good things still continuously to the Philadelphia 76ers. And I think if he looks at what Josh Hart did as the fifth guy on the New York Knicks, he can really learn some lessons from that and take some things from that and be able to apply it in this super team setting until he gets a chance to be a much more dependent upon individual once again.
Yeah, this is a good way to get him paid. You're right, Gerald. This is it. If he's willing to accept, a larger cut of his role and just step in when he's needed to, this can be a big payday. This may end up getting him paid, maybe not by Philadelphia, maybe by another team. Maybe somebody who, like a Boston Celtics or Golden State Warriors, who need to God will do something, man. Jesus Christ, do something in Golden State. Maybe them or Clippers or anybody might be willing to pay that extra money after they see what do you do for Philadelphia and how much are you willing to sacrifice. Because I do say a lot of teams respect players who willing to make sacrifices, knowing that they could have probably had a bigger role if they went to Brooklyn or Chicago or something. Could have had a bigger role. Maybe they're willing to, he might be willing to take that. If he take that cut, it could be a big payday. This could be a really big way to make some money.
Well, if that's the case, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with this team. It is going to be interesting, to say the least, and always creating an interesting team for everybody to talk about throughout the NBA is always going to be interesting. Again, I haven't yet really put a whole lot of thought into the season predictions 100% for each and every team, especially a team like Philadelphia, where you just don't know how much they're going to give you during the course of the regular season, because they're going to try and, pardon the pun again that I've said before on this show in regards to their head coach, nurse LeBron James and Joel Embiid through the season, 50 games, 55 games, maybe LeBron playing 60 games. Maybe if he's having a really good season, 65, and get them ready for the playoffs, because that's the most important thing, is having those two healthy alongside the Brown, Maxey, Edgecombe trio, and whatever depth they have on the bench coming out of it, to try and see if they can make a run in the East. Because I do think it is, despite the win by the New York Knicks, I do think it is open and available for them if they come together sooner rather than, like you said, most teams, like you said, 2-year window is probably better for that. But if things come together quicker, they do have a pathway. There is a pathway to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, that's what I usually say, is the fact that, in this type of window, it's usually 2 windows. But if they can come together, this is it. Like, like I told a Philadelphia fan at the university that I work at, this is y'all best chance to win the championship. This is it. The East is wide open, even though the Knicks won. It's wide open. This to me is way more wide open than the West. The West to me is still kind of down to those two teams up top. But the East to me is anybody. It's anybody game. And this is Philadelphia's absolute best chance to make that push through. And hey, this might be LeBron best GOAT case right here too. If you want to make a case for it, win for 4 different teams. If you can do that, that's pretty impressive. I give you that. That is impressive, especially when 2 of those 4 teams haven't won a championship in over 2 or 3 decades. That's a heck of an accomplishment if you want to pull that off. So if they can come together, the East is wide open. If they can really come together. But if times continue to be proven how it usually is, probably not gonna come together the first year. Second year is when you probably see what they can really made of. Now that they don't gotten past the learning phase. But we're gonna see how things go. But a lot of it is gonna really come down to Joel Embiid. Can you stay healthy? Can you legit stay healthy and not be missing about 20, 30 games or whatever, his usual stuff? Can he stay healthy? Because another thing we can also say about Joel Embiid, his rebounding has come down over the years. It's been going down and down and down every single season. So Joel Embiid definitely ain't what he used to be. But if he can just stay healthy, that's all you got to ask out of him. That's what determine their success pretty much.
Once again, it is Legend from I Got Next Sports Media. Please go ahead and check out what he's doing today at I Got Next Sports Media on YouTube, and make sure you like and subscribe while you're there. Indeed. Let's get to one of your 2 teams. I know that talk about Atlanta, as far as the concern from ESPN and others this week, has been about the future for Atlanta. So that's something we can go ahead and address when we do our team previews or later on this month as far as Atlanta. But Golden State, trying to fill out the edges with Gary Payton and other signings in and around as far as is concerned, just trying to fill things up now that they didn't get LeBron in the LeBron sweepstakes. They're going forward, but some things have been talked about in the Bay Area in recent days in regards to the possible future. Steph Curry has a extension possibility that could come up as far as it's concerned, or he could become a free agent next summer as well. That could be something that's thrown in there, I believe, as well. So with that said, my friend, with Steph Curry, with the Golden State Warriors, where do they stand in your eyes as far as right now this summer? How's it worked out for you so far? And about the window, I don't want to go too far into it because, of course, your Golden State preview, you can really go into how far it can go. But some initial thoughts on this offseason for Golden State, because I think that their thoughts and their heights were much bigger than what they ultimately achieved.
For the summer, this summer is just as quiet as my house outside in that yard right now. That's how this summer been. Quiet as a mouse. I can probably hear a armadillo using the bathroom on the side of the house. Probably. That's how quiet it been. They haven't done anything. They haven't done nothing major to make a big difference. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that may come back to hunt them is you could have probably got Jaylen Brown, because you saw what he went for. It wasn't much. So, just saying Golden State, you saw what he went for. You probably could have got him. And I think that's the biggest disappointment to me about this summer. The fact they didn't do anything to give Steph Curry another chance to try to get ring number 5. I feel like they're just kind of doing what the Lakers did for a while. Just kicking the can down the street. Just keep on. We'll try next year. We'll try to we'll trade deadline. Well, man, let's try next summer. Just keep on doing it over and over and over. And I'm like, Steph is getting close to his 40s. What are we doing? And I feel like that's unfair to him. And that's part of my biggest disappointment about this team is you're not capitalizing. You're not going after pieces that can give him a legitimate chance. We don't know what Butler's going to be like when he comes back. We have no idea. But what we do know, Butler is up in the age. So you can't be even too surprised if it be some type of dip after that type of injury. Can't be surprised at that. And that's the part of the biggest disappointment about this summer. Like you said, I'll probably go more into depth about Golden State this upcoming season and all that. But just disappointment summer. It looks like they just continue to fail Steph Curry, and it's just kind of sad to see that this is how his career is coming to an end. This is how a legendary career is going to end with an organization that's not willing to go all in for their stars. Just let them waste away. Just keep holding them draft picks, I guess. Just keep on holding them. Maybe you'll find another Steph Curry.
So what does Steph Curry do? What will you think Steph Curry is ultimately going to do? Because I mentioned that he does have the possibility of an out next summer, in what could be a very boring summer, what could be a very interesting summer based on Nikola Jokic and Steph Curry and their contracts and the way they treat them as far as they're concerned. If Nikola Jokic decides to re-up with the Denver Nuggets for another 5 years, he does have that availability, or he could become a free agent next summer. And the same thing can be the case for Steph Curry, because again, he does have extension talks here, possibly in the not too distant future, that he could exercise, or he could become an unrestricted free agent next summer, which could scare everybody in the Bay Area.
If he decided to leave, I wouldn't be mad. I don't blame him. He deserves the opportunity to continue to try to win. He deserves that opportunity. So if he decides to look elsewhere, totally understand. Honestly, I'll be right there with him. I already got my bag packed up and they say, "Where we going, Steph? I'm ready. Where we going?" I guess I'm gonna leave Golden State with you too, because they did you dirty. I'm right here with you. What I really think he's gonna do, I think he's gonna probably re-sign up and retire as a Warrior. That's what I think is gonna happen. I didn't really get the feeling that he's more of a Dirk Nowitzki, Kobe Bryant type. One team, that's it. I get the feeling that's what's gonna probably happen. It'd be a little surprising to see him wear any other jersey at this point. But if he decides to, I support it, because he deserves the opportunity to try to win.
Well, we'll see what happens with Golden State. Again, you'll have more about it when we do our team previews next month. And you've got the Golden State Warriors and the Atlanta Hawks. Again, very interesting what the Atlanta Hawks could do this year. And also as well next summer going forward, because they could have like the Lakers did, an abundance of cap space, but what they do with it, like the Lakers, will remain to be seen.
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards, there you go. Come back to Georgia. That would be great. Be great indeed. But again, I do want to go ahead and thank you for stopping by as always. But before we head on out, my friend, the latest rumor of the week for the Los Angeles Lakers is none other than Klay Thompson.
I knew
it. Your thoughts on this, my friend? Again, Dallas talking about a buyout. Written by the same people, I think almost point for point as the people who said that there would be a Kuminga deal done to the Lakers this weekend. And you saw how that far that went. He's been rumored to go to other places. Cleveland. He's been rumored to go to Miami. He's been rumored to go, other places as well. I mean, somehow if Philadelphia really wants to go ahead and put their 2 cents into it, they could probably go ahead and take a look at this, with Klay. But the Lakers have been mentioned very prominently as far as a team that he could be headed to. Why is my question? Just to hang out with Dad? Because the Lakers already have a shooting guard that they gave $180 million to in Austin Reeves. They have Cameron Carr, who they drafted in that position right there. Not to mention Jaden Hardy. Not to mention other players in that mix at the shooting guard spot. It would seem kind of redundant, but then again, you move him up to the small forward spot and you say, okay, he's your starting small forward, because you really don't have a starting forward on the Lakers right now. But at his age, with those injuries that he's had, the 2 major injuries sapped a lot of what he used to do on the defensive end. He's still a pretty good shooter, but he was like 38%, so he's not the lights out shooter that he once was. He's a good shooter, not a great shooter. I just don't know what it really brings the Lakers other than the name that comes off the bench, or that they could start as far as it's concerned for the Lakers in Klay Thompson.
I would say kind of interesting you want to come there when I want to say, what, about 2 summers ago that they had interest in you and
Yep.
you declined and went to Mavericks. I guess you must really want to play with Luka, and that's what you originally went to the Mavericks, and you didn't know on February 25th, if I remember right, the legendary trade by the legendary GM happened. So I'm gonna assume you must either A, really want to play with Luka, or B, you want to be by dad. So it's one or the other. Be by dad or be by Luka. It's one or the other. Because you could have been did this type of move. You know, if you really want to be a Laker, you could have did this 2 years ago. So it is a little, odd to see that he will have an interest in going now. But I guess I give you guys another good, decent shooter. Because we both know he don't play defense like he did doing the Golden State, championship run. And his shooting is still okay. It ain't what it used to be, but it's still okay. So he's still getting a pretty good person off the bench.
He's only taking threes at this point because when you look at his field goal percentage, it isn't much higher than his 3-point shooting. So you can tell all he does is shoot threes at this point in his career.
Yeah, that's all he do. The days of him going to the basket, doing all the dunks he did back in Golden State days, yeah, that's over with. Those 2 major injuries took all that away. And that's understandable. The fact that he's able to still be playing is probably the most blessed thing you can really say. He's still playing after going through them 2 devastating injuries back to back. So we'll see what happens, but who knows? You guys might be getting Klay Thompson to the Lakers. I know his dad would be happy to have him.
Again, I mean, unless you plan to start him at small forward, I just don't know what you do with him. And is he still a guy that you can start and play 20 to 25 minutes a game?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's the problem I have, or concern I have, I should say, in regards to that. I just don't know what he gives you that you don't already have on that team. And again, if you are looking for him to be the small forward for your team, the starting small forward for your team, because you really don't have a starting forward on your team, at least at NBA levels. I mean, I'd rather start Grimes, or I'd rather, and at this point, than Klay Thompson, because again, he's just not able to start to defend or slow down the top players in the league, or anyone with any type of athleticism or speed. After what he suffered through with his injuries, and it's not his fault. It's just what happens to a player as he gets older and gets those injuries racked up. And I'm glad that he's playing now in the league and he can still hit you a shot. But I see him more as a player who can contribute more on a Miami or a Philly at this point in time.
Yeah, probably more so, and at least he can come off the bench, and that's the best thing for him. I think he might have gotten to the point where he's willing to accept coming off a bench a little bit more now. I'm thinking the reality of the days of being a starter is pretty much over with. I know he had a hard time accepting that reality as a Golden State Warrior, but in Miami or Philadelphia, I think he'll understand coming off the bench is probably the best way you'll really help either one of these 2 organizations. If you're going to start anywhere, it might end up being maybe Miami, because they need some shooting badly right now. But Philadelphia, definitely coming off the bench. There's no doubt about that. You coming off the bench.
Well, my friend, it's always great catching up with you. I plan to go ahead and have more in-depth conversations this month with you before that'll lead into September, when you and I will do breakdowns of both Atlanta and Golden State and whatever else may come up in the NBA. But before we head on out, want to make sure you give the love out there to everyone as far as what's going on with your channel, I Got Dex Sports Media.
Well, I could definitely say I have been on a hiatus, just enjoying the off season, kind of taking it easy. But I did say I might try to do a show this Saturday and just talk about LeBron and everything else that don't happen in the NBA, and kind of briefly talk about that, talk a little bit about the WNBA. Shout out to my Atlanta Dream. They went and lost to the Aces last night and doing Barbie night in State Farm Arena, but we'll bounce back. We had the pinks up in there with holding the L too while we was at it.
I'll say this when it comes to the Aces, it's interesting, but as far as what they're just seem to be cruising at this point in time. right now. So they're kind of dangerous. It was about this time that they went on that super run last year. As far as they were like 500 team, and then they went on that super run that gave them the kind of momentum into the playoffs that they needed to go ahead and do what they did. But the Lynx are looking pretty good, and if as long as they go within some kind of momentum into the off season, Golden State also looks good as well, and also we cannot count out Indiana, what's going on there. So with that said, and Paige Buchers for Dallas. So with that said, there are some really good teams, I think, better teams that might give Aces a little bit more trouble in this offseason. In this postseason, postseason.
Yeah, I definitely do. I think it's gonna be a lot of good teams that will give Aces a run for their money, especially Olivia Miles with the Lynx. Rookie of the year already. That's over. That conversation is over. Rookie of the year is definitely hers since the beginning of the season. I think if I had to pick right now, I would not be surprised if it be Lynx versus Aces. If that depending on how the brackets line up, they could end up facing off in the finals, or maybe either Lynx and Aces versus maybe Fevers or Valkyries or Dallas Wings, or would love for this to happen. My dream show up and get to the finals. Trust me, I will be in Atlanta at that parade if that happens. But it's gonna be interesting. I think the Aces will have a real competition for that title this year. Just a little disappointed seeing Liberty kind of dropped off a little bit.
We will see what happens, though, my friend. Again, the Lynx have won 10 in a row as of this recording, so we'll see. They're the hot team right now in the WNBA. But for WNBA, for pro basketball, and coming up later this month, he's going to start covering college football as well. College football as well.
Bowl season coming back, guys.
Yeah. You know how I feel about that one. You said that on purpose. You said that on purpose to get at me.
Oh man!
Well done.
Cart bowl, everything in the bowl.
Yeah, can't wait for the toilet bowl. Yes, so the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl or the Bermuda Bowl or whatnot.
Oh man!
I mean, it's right there on the plate. It's right there on the plate. We talk about every time. I hate to get on my soapbox, and I won't. It's right there on the plate for them to do it, to reshape the bowl into a playoff that will get ratings at all these lame bowl games instead of a 5-6 team playing a 5-6 team or a 6-6 team playing a 6-6 team. Put a first round matchup with Alabama and whatever one of the lowest ranked teams is as far as it goes. Just like the NCAA tournament, just like March Madness. Make it like March Madness, and you've got bank for the NCAA.
Yeah, that's bank. It's easy money.
It's easy money. It's right there. Yeah. But need I digress? But for more insight on college football, the WNBA, the NBA, and more, please go to I Got Next Sports Media Indeed and Legend. It's always great to have you here. I know you've been wanting to get back on the show. Appreciate you reaching out to me, and I will make sure I will keep you in tune. We'll go ahead and keep you in the loop as best we can, as best you're available right here, as always, for some great and outstanding legend-style NBA observations.